Hello everyone, my name is John Michael Bushman and welcome back to Shadowverse. Now for part 2 of the decks that I play on this game here, and you guys saw some time ago my pirate deck, and now you're gonna see the deck that not really the deck, more of the clan that I started with, which is Dragoncraft. I used to run what is called the Phoenix Roost deck, which is just a glorified version of Magic the Gathering's Burn, but a lot better because that deck has a lot of goddamn draw power. And but this is the deck that survives the meta these days more than the Phoenix Roost deck, because while yes, cutting the cost of all of your cards in half is good and all, if it's symmetrical, then what's the point? So I chose to eschew that deck in favor of this, which is more commonly called Discard Dragon, because it has a lot of discard effects for fun and profit, and then it converts all of those discards into either damage or card advantage. So main game plan of the deck: get to Lumiore as fast as possible, and there is honestly no other way to go about it. If you get to Lumiore, who, by the way, I'm just noticing now, has amazing heals, but she will not be the focus of this thumbnail, unfortunately. If you guys see the thumbnail, you probably know why. If you get to Lumiore, more often than not, you're gonna win. And the reason why I call this combo control is because you have a surprising amount of removal in this deck. It's more one for one. It's just slowing down your opponent just enough, and then ramping just enough in order to get to the 8 play points in order to get to Lumiore, which is weird because a lot of Dragoncraft decks really love to ramp as much as possible. Although there are a couple of Dragoncraft decks that I've faced off against where the curve is significantly lower, so they don't need to ramp as much. But for typical Dragoncraft decks, especially the ones in play in rotation, they do need to ramp a lot. But for this deck in particular, at least for this build, which has gone through a couple of changes, more so than the pirate deck that I was playing, this is the deck that changed actually less, now that I'm remembering it correctly. I only changed a couple of cards around over time as I play on this platform, but generally the core is still the same. You got Lumiore as the finisher, and then a lot of discard payoffs and cards that convert into other cards if you do indeed discard them. But we're gonna go into the details right now, starting with the one drop of this deck, Scalebound Plight. This is one of many discard outlets this deck has, and then it's a 1 play point card where you discard a card from your hand and then you draw a card. And then if Overflow is active, which this deck achieves fairly easily, because of course it does, it's a Dragoncraft deck, you draw 2 cards instead. Now, one trap that you do get to encounter when you're just learning this deck is you draw way too many cards. You do need to do a little bit of math, just a little bit, not like full hog, because to go with Lumiore here, you have Altered Fate, which helps your win, which is basically your win condition alongside Lumiore, where you discard your hand and you draw X cards, where X is the number of cards discarded, and then Lumiore will deal X damage to all enemies, where X equals twice the number of cards discarded. So if you have let's say 9 cards in hand, that's like 18 damage if you discard 9 cards. And by the time I usually get to Lumiore, I have less than 20 cards in deck, and if you draw into the wrong cards in the wrong sequence, you are very prone to decking yourself out. And I have encountered that problem multiple times, and I don't know if it will come up here in this recording, but if it does, well, at least you guys can see. Speaking of Altered Fate, I already explained what it does. This is your wombo. This is an A plus B combo deck, where you need both at least one copy of Lumiore and Altered Fate in order to win. But if the luck of the draw, if Lady Luck decides to smile upon you, you can kill your opponent with 2 Altered Fates. Of course, if you get lucky. Dragon Oracle, it's been here since the beginning of the game, and it's still like an extremely viable Dragoncraft ramp card. There's no two ways about it. Up next, another core part of this deck is Argenti, or Argent, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce her name, Pure Silver, where she has Ward, and she's a very early blocker, especially against that pesky Bloodcraft deck, which is a deck that I am having far more difficulty fighting these days because of the new support that they got from Heroes of Shadowverse. But Argenti, I prefer to pronounce it as Argenti. It just sounds better that way, and her evolved form is amazing. Where you discard 2 cards from your hand and you get an empty play point orb, which does help with Lumiore, because discarding 2, that's like if Lumiore is on the field, that's automatic 4 damage. So it's something, but there is a little caveat here. Where if 2 other allied effects have discarded cards from your hand this match, you draw 3 cards, so she's basically card neutral. Because you play Argenti and then you draw 3 cards, and then you discard 2 and then you draw 3, so you basically replace all the cards you just lost and or used. So that's why she is integral to this deck, and she's also a really good blocker at that. In desperate scenarios, of course, you can evolve her to turn into a 5/5, and she can attack because of the rush that she gets from evolving. But more often than not, she just sits there as a temporary blocker, because once she has done her fanfare effect, she's basically done her job. Next, Cursed Fury. This is a card that was a one-of in the deck that I originally copied. There was another card in here named Silong, which is an extremely expensive card, by the way, at 3,500 files. Which I ultimately cut from the deck, and I just put Cursed Fury in its place. This is either a ramp card or a removal spell, but more often than not, you're using this as a ramp card, and then if you have Overflow, you get to use both effects instead, because Rowan's Roar lets you gain an empty playpoint orb, and Valdane's Claw lets you destroy a random enemy follower. So, and then if you have Overflow, you get to do both. But more often than not, you're using this to ramp instead. In another build of this deck, I used to have both Cursed Furor and Waterworm's Blessing, so that I can ramp as much as possible. But the trap that I run into with that version of the deck is I ramp too much and I don't get into my win cons. And what also happens is, because Waterworm Blessing's overflow effect is, you also get to draw 2 cards and restore just a bit of your health. What happens there is you draw way too many cards, and when you do indeed get to Lumiore, you will have far too few cards left in deck, and you risk decking yourself out. So cutting it down to 2, I used to have 3 of this, and just cutting it down to 2 it definitely feels a lot better compared to having a full playset of this. So, but you know, depending on the meta that you usually find yourself in, you can change these numbers around. Cursed Fury will always be a good Dragoncraft card, unless of course Cygames decides to power creep the fuck out of this thing. Up next is probably my favorite card of the bunch, Mami Drazi, as you guys have probably heard me call her, the Ravening Enforcer, although she is quite ravenous, but that's another topic for another time. You can accelerate her for 1 measly play point and just replace her to draw another card. There are matchups where you don't need Mami Drazi, but more often than not, having her for her fanfare to give -5/-5 to all followers, and she even heals you for some weird reason. Sometimes that board wipe is more than enough to set your opponent back by at least 1, maybe 2 turns, and that will hopefully set you up for the win. And she does come in with a sentence that doesn't exactly come up often, but some people do indeed forget that she cannot be destroyed by effects. So effects that say you destroy this thing in particular, they don't work on Mami Drazi. However, the effects that say you deal X amount of damage to a target, that does indeed work on Mami Drazi, unfortunately. Her evolved form turns her into an extremely beefy and thick 7/10. So this makes her the biggest blocker in this deck, and she's also good God, an extremely powerful card. And I don't know if she still sees play in rotation. Then again, I don't play that format. So, but if she does see play in rotation, I can definitely see why. Up next, we have Augite Worm. This is actually a secondary win con. But usually you're only using him for his accelerate effect, where it's similar to Scalebound Plight, where you discard a card from your hand and then you draw a card, and then if Overflow is active, you draw 2 cards instead. But on the off chance where you somehow run out of Lumiores or any way to convert all of your discards into damage, sometimes Augite Worm and his evolved form, where he just grows a bunch of diamonds rather, not scales. He's just a really big attacker, and on Fanfare, where when he enters the battlefield, he deals 6 damage to all enemies, and I mean all enemies. This includes the enemy leader as your opponent as well. So he's a board wipe and also deals 6 damage to your opponent. This is a backup, just in case, but more often than not, you're just using him for the accelerate effect. Up next, we have Trail of Light. This is another one of those really old cards that still sees play to this day because it's a really damn good card. I mean, if you don't need to discard it, you just pay 2 play points and then you draw a card. But if you do end up having a discard effect, it still draws you a card. So it's a win-win no matter what you do with this card. And gorgeous art, by the way. And I have seen the promo art of this card in person, and it's an amazing piece of art. Up next is a card that I added over time. Now it's a full 3 of. This she just used to be a 2 of, but as I've come to realize, and as I also said earlier in this deck tech, you don't really need too many ramp effects in this deck. What you need more is removal. And Springwell Dragonkeeper, also because I don't know if you guys will be able to hear her voice. Let's see. Oh, right. I lowered the voice volume all the way down because it was way too loud last time. But yeah, her extremely monotone voice is really, really cute at that. So what you're here for, the reason why she's in the deck rather, is for her Fanfare effect, where when she enters the battlefield, you discard a card from your hand and you deal 4 damage to an enemy follower, and that's huge. You can basically turn any of the discardable cards in here into damage, but that will only activate if there is a targetable card in your hand, and then there's also an enemy follower in play. She does have a small bonus with Enhance 5, where she gets +3/+3, so she becomes a 5/5 on entry. And then that's pretty much it. That's all she does. And her evolved form, again, amazing art as well. I mean, what can you expect from the people who give us Grand Blue Fantasy? Good God, this card I did not. This wasn't exactly on my radar, but when I was looking for ways to basically make this deck a lot smoother than the original build, well, at least smoother by my standards, she came up, and I didn't exactly believe in her at first because I believe that ramping into Lumiore is a lot better, but as I've come to realize over time, Bloodcraft, Haven, and Shadowcraft are bitches to deal with, and you need far more removal than what you normally would. So Springwell Dragonkeeper definitely makes the cut here at a full playset, by the way. Up next is a staple, by the way, in Discard Dragon. If it's discarded, you just draw a card, and then if Overflow is active, it deals 3 as well. And then its normal effect is it's essentially the same thing. You discard a card from your hand, and then you draw a card, and then you deal 3 damage to a random enemy follower. So if it's discarded, you just draw 1. It's basically discardable. It's just discard fodder more often than not. But if Overflow is active, you do get to deal 3 damage to a random enemy follower. Sometimes that comes up, but in extremely rare and or desperate situations, you do need to use this card itself as a discard outlet in order to get deeper into your deck and find Lumiore as fast as possible. And then it also lightning bolts something, so that's pretty goddamn huge. Up next, we have Dragonfolk's Whale. So this is usually just discard fodder, but on the rare occasion that you do indeed need to use it as a removal spell, it deals a whopping 6 damage to, to an enemy follower, and that's direct damage. It doesn't it's not random. You get to choose who gets to take 6 to the face, and that is an insane amount of damage. Cast aside your flesh, embrace the scales. That sounds evil as fuck, but it's extremely metal, so I will take who. It's not even attributed to anyone. It's just that. It's just that you just embrace your full dragonborn lineage right there. Holy shit. Next we have Dragoon Medic. Again, same with the other cards in here. They're all just discard fodder. But what she does in particular is, if she is discarded, you restore 3 defense. And then she does have a really unique benefit of if you do play her, and there are going to be very rare occasions where you do indeed play her, at the end of your turn, it restores 3 defense. So she's basically an extremely annoying way to combat a lot of decks that are extremely aggressive, because she has a really thick booty at 8. You never attack with her. Believe me when believe me, you will never ever attack with her. And why is it but have mercy that was bitter? Wait, so the dragon can talk, right? I keep forgetting the fact that almost all of the creatures in this game can talk. Oh my god. But lore aside, she's usually just discard fodder, but on the rare occasions that you do need to plop her onto the field, she is extremely annoying to deal with. I've already talked about Lumiore a couple of times. She is the main win condition of this deck, costing a massive 8 play points. But in my experience, at the very least, by the time you do reach 8 play points, which is probably turn 5 or 6, if you're lucky, you can even get to it on turn 4. But if you do get to that point and then you plop her onto the field and she is uncontested, you're more likely than not you're gonna win the game from there. And if in case you don't kill her, she is a respectable attacker at 5 attack power. So there's that. And then her evolved form just adds I mean, it's a very small boost of 2 points, but sometimes that is more than enough. Last card in this deck is Orb the Cancer, which is honestly an extremely unfortunate naming convention for this thing. But same with Augite Worm, you're only using this for the accelerate effect, but just in case you don't have Lumiores or Mami Drazis anymore, this guy goes alongside Augite Worm as backup attackers, and you can evolve it, but the one that you are evolving is the creature it summons off of its fanfare effect. If you do indeed get to that point where it summons a Fortress Crab, which is a 6/8 with ward, and then its last words is you put another Fortress Crab in your hand, but of course you need to have evolved it, so you have at least maybe 2 to 3 shots at getting a Fortress Crab. So just having a really big defender, just to stall out long enough to get to something else. I have reached certain board states where I don't exactly get to kill my opponent, and then they just, you know, keep trying to pound it into me, and hopefully I lose from there. But having these crabs and just stalling it out until I find some form of stability is usually more than enough. And let's see this guy's flavor text. These ancient crustaceans dwell deep in the sea, feeding on magical stones. As they mature, some find their way on land, capable of leveling mountains. They have been classified as doomsday level threats. Oh, that's a doomsday indeed. I mean, if you name something cancer, Jesus Christ. I honestly still don't know why sea creatures are labeled under Dragoncraft. That is something that I have to look up in the lore, which we will get back to sooner or later. But yeah, that is my version of Discard Dragon, or as I prefer to call it, Combo Control. And that's Combo Control with K's rather than C's. So, without further ado, let's see what Mami Drazi, featuring Lumiore, will do in the rank ladder. We'll see you guys there. Alright, let's see what my first opponent has for me here. Oh god, Portal Craft already. Oh dear god. Alright. Let's see if we have what it takes here. This is good. We have a discardable, and then we have a ramp card. Alright. Let's see, we got what it takes here. We're going first, by the way, so there's that. Ooh, we might need Dragonfolk's Whale as a way to remove something on board should it come to that. But we're just gonna discard that, and then we're gonna keep going here. All right, opponent's turn. Are my volume levels okay? Okay. Everything is okay. All right, special week. Let's see what we got here. Sisterly Bonds. You got Spinarias. Okay, sure. Calamity's Genesis. Yeah. Magistero Dreadnoughts. Yes. This is typical Portalcraft stuff. Big ass Portalcraft things. We're gonna ramp up first. We're gonna use Orb Cancer next turn. In case my opponent doesn't play any followers, we're not going to use Dragonfolk's Will after all. That is not a problem for now. So there's that. Oh god, she got an effect off of her follower. What does it do? Oh, nothing. Alright. We could kill it, but I'm not going to. No damage has been dealt to me yet, so we'll just use Orb Cancer and we'll discard Dragonfolk's Whale. Let's see what two cards come off the top. We got a Mummy Drazi and a Scalebound Plight, so even more discard fodder. So we're gonna do that. Let's see what we get off the top. Another Scalebound Plight. We already have a Lumiore, but I'm not going to discard that one just yet. We might need Mami Drazi for later turns. So, wait, how many cards have we discarded by this point? Oh, we've only discarded 3, so we could just use Scalebound Plight here, or we can use Argenti and next turn, and let's see what else we draw off the top. So, one thing that I learned over time with this deck is sometimes when you don't need to draw, you don't. Because digging way too deep in your deck can ruin your math with Lumiore and Altered Fate, and if you draw way too many cards, you will deck yourself out. And here he is, using Shion's Accelerate, I believe, and then, yeah, and draws an additional card. We are ahead of him by a couple of turns. Okay, that is not going to help at all. So we're going to use Argenti here. We're going to discard the Orb Cancer, because I don't want to dig way too deep in here. So we're just gonna be card neutral, and okay, that's not nothing, but we already have the win con in hand. Overflow is not active as of this moment, so we're just going to draw 2 cards. We're going to discard the All-Guide Worm with Orb Cancer. Here we're gonna draw 2. That would have been useful, but them's the game. So let's see what else happens here. My opponent can evolve now because they are going second Metatron. Yeah, sure. Deal 1 damage to me and then restore 1 to you. Sure. Evolving Metatron. I'm assuming to take care of Argenti. Yeah, sure. That's completely fine. I don't have a way to win just yet. So there's that. At the end of your turn, okay, I think, yeah, reduce damage from effects to 0. Yeah, give your leader the following event until the end of your opponent's turn. We're not exactly going to do that one just yet. We're not gonna do that. We don't do that around here. Well, not immediately, of course. So we're just gonna do that because Overflow is active for us. We'll sadly not be able to use Springwell here anymore, but we will just, we'll just keep drawing cards. We already have Lumiore, we have Altered Fate, and I guess we ramp even more. We'll draw 1 more card, and yeah, we are ready to win next turn, and unless my opponent does something very, very critical here, like say protecting themselves from a lot of damage, which a lot of decks can do. Okay, goddamn, Shiore. Oh god, Shion doing her thing. I believe she cannot be. Oh god, reduced damage from effects to 0, cannot be destroyed or banished by effects, and Mercurial Might is active once again. Ah, gods. So I can't kill her just yet, so I have to go through 1 more Mercurial Might. I cannot exactly hurt Shion yet, which is insane. Cannot be destroyed or banished by effects, but you can be minus. Let's go, Mami Drazi. So we'll give you -5/-5, restore just a tiny bit of health. I will evolve her, and there we go. I could get rid of Shion here, And I can't deal damage to her anyway, so I'll just get rid of Shion. I could do more, but I'm not going to. We'll just draw a card and be happy with it. We'll just let her Mercurial Might wear off. Should be off now, and she only has one more Mercurial Might left in the deck. I'm pretty sure she does, unless she has something else. Okay, some Divine Treasure, sure. Summoning those and those. Yep, just additional bodies to sacrifice. That is completely fine. Getting a Treasure Guardian. I'm assuming to attack Mommy Drazi here. Yep. Ouch. Dealing 3 to me as well. Sure. And I believe... Oh, she has another protection bubble. Shit. Can't take more than 4 damage. Shit. Shield of Transition. Okay, she has 2 turns. Oh, gods. So we could play another Mamidrazi again, just wipe the board clean, and times like this where I wish I had Terra Finis so that I can deal with amulets, but them's the game, sadly. So we'll just put down another Mamidrazi, wipe the board clean, then we'll protect ourselves for a couple more turns, because we can't exactly deal a lot of damage against Shion here. This doesn't deal damage to enemy leaders, sadly. So, and we have no way to deal with amulets, so we'll just pass our turn here. The shield will be off next turn, but if she does indeed start just barfing everything out, and she restores all 3 of her evil points, so that's something. I probably should have been far more aggressive rather than conservative here. 4 damage is still 4 damage, but that will deck me out, unfortunately. So we're just gonna see what else happens here. And Mami Drazi is banished, but this is a board wipe. There's that. If I do indeed play with Lumiore, she's still under Shield of Transgression, so we have to do this now, or else we will not get another chance. We'll discard Argenti because we don't need it anymore. We are at 10 play points anyway, so there's that. Right, this will deal a chunky bit of damage at 4. There we go. She can't take more than 4 anyway. Maybe I shouldn't have discarded Argenti, since she only takes 4 at a time. And this might deck me out. I have 9 cards in hand. Oh yeah, this will indeed deck me out. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna use Springwell Dragon. We're gonna discard Dragonoot's Might. We're going to hit Olivia here. And there we go. Then that will trigger, dealing 3 to that, and then that's 2 more damage. Alright. So we're surviving, but I believe my conservative plays have definitely cost me the match, and here come the Dreadnoughts. So I may have just lost, but we're gonna see. Then again, I may have just lost like completely because I don't have enough cards in deck to survive an Altered Fate, and 2 of my cards in hand draw me extra cards. So we're probably just dead here, and yeah, another Shield of Transgression definitely seals the deal here. So my opponent's got this, so we're just gonna move on to the next game. Alright, let's see what my opponent has for us here. Ooh, Shadowcraft using the Cerberus avatar. Alright, cool. Let's see, special week. Let's see what kind of opening hand we get. Well, we have 2 discardables, but we're going second. Ooh, so yeah, this is actually surprisingly keepable, all things considered. Desperate. Should things turn desperate, we'll just use Dragonoot's Might to discard Dragonfolk's Wail. But my opponent does nothing on their first turn, and we drew a discard outlet. Very, very good. All right, we draw 2, and we'll use Dragon Oracle next turn. But depending on our draws, we may do something else here. So let's see what Cerberus is gonna do here. Death of the Party. This is an amulet that I very rarely see in Shadowcraft decks. But if they're gonna play it slow, if this is what I think it is, they're not gonna do much until about turn 5, maybe turn 4, depending on the type of stuff that they put down. Okay, Freya, yeah, gets a random follower. I'm assuming that's just Lord Atomy. Yeah. This is probably just a Lord Atomy Turbo, more than anything else. She's already done her job, Freya. We haven't discarded enough cards, unfortunately, so we'll just use Augite Worm, and we'll discard the Trail of Light. And after that, we can use Argenti. So we have an early blocker. Yeah, we've discarded 2. We'll discard Dragon's Smite. And we'll discard Orb Cancer, maybe? No, we might need the removal. Yeah, we'll discard an Orb Cancer. This will give us a play point. So there we go. Alright, cool. And we have both Lumiore and Altered Fate. Alright, that is Gucci. Alright, I'm assuming my opponent will not attack here. Well, they probably just should. Okay, Demonic Possession, so performing Burial right there, and yeah, Staircase to Paradise. They did not want to get copyrighted by naming it Stairway to Heaven. Sure, opponent. Let's see what else they're gonna do. What they're thinking about. There's Coffin of the Unknown Soul, so he can play Lord Atomy now, because he reduces his play cost if you have 4 other things on board. Yep, there we go. There's Lord Atomy. There we go. So he sacrifices his 4 other things. Oh, just 3, and then brings back the Abyssal Kernel. Alright, sure. Argenti has done her job, so she can happily die there. Now we have to deal with all of this bullshit. Argenti, Springwell, Dragon Keeper at least only needs 1 discard, so there's that. So we'll get Argenti down as a blocker. We'll discard Dragonfolk's Wail and an Orb Cancer. And then, let's see what we draw off the top. A Trail of Light and a Dragon Manic. Okay. We will need to restore just a little bit of our HP here. So we'll discard Dragon Medic, and we will get rid of... Should we get rid of the Kernel, or... I mean, Lord Atomy is honestly a lot more dangerous. So we'll direct our 4 damage to him. And then we will evolve Argenti. There we go. Just to give her a little bit more health. Then we will attack the Abyssal Kernel because he has Ward. Now Lord Atomy's attack will be slightly more difficult. And oh, we can even draw more cards. Sure, why not? We'll discard Trail of Light, and we will pass the turn after that. There we go. Overflow is active, so we will draw... Okay, those are really good draws, but let's see if we survive all the way until then. Because my opponent could still kill us here. Although Lord Atomy is not gonna be able to do much here. And then Death of the Party, which one triggered? Draw a card. Alright, cool. And then last words, lose the match. Oh boy. So he is quite my opponent's quite literally living on borrowed time here. Alright. Okay, giving Lord Atomy 5 more hit points, and getting rid of my blocker. Ouch. So that's 10 to the face. But if he doesn't do anything else here, he just might die. Because I already have Lumiore and Altered Fate in hand, and then I will be able to draw more. I don't think... Yeah, I only have 1 card that has an effect when discarded. Okay, yep, Demonic Possession, Burial Rite, sure. He probably had to evolve Lord Atomy just so that he can deal the most amount of damage possible. Yeah, I mean, he already has his win con on the field, so I don't know what else he can do here. And then he only has like 5 turns left before he loses the game. So there is that. But let's see what else he's gonna do. Alright, Crystallizing Spirit Eater. That's how you know that things are desperate. He could have used he could have saved that. Yeah, even Thunder God of the Tempest. Yeah, he could have saved all of that as sacrifice fodder for Lord Atomy, but I guess he didn't. Alright, so my opponent could potentially die here. We will discard yeah, we'll just discard that, and we'll discard Curse Furor because we don't need that at this point. He only has honestly 1 viable creature on board. And then he dies here. Yeah, I just use Altered Fate and then he dies. Yeah, This is exactly enough. So there, and then we draw an extra, and then boom. That's the combo. All right, good one there, Special Week, and a good job to you as well, girls. Yep. And we get our just a little bit of money, and yeah, Special Week with her victory pose. All right. Whew, that was a game and a half, so let's move on to the next one. Alright, let's see what this opponent has for us here. And we're in the Forest Craft stage. Oh, Jesus Christ. A Forest Craft user themselves. We're going second, so let's see what our opening hand has for us here. Nothing good. This is one of those few times where we have to mulligan away our entire hand. Not that much better unless we draw Scalebound Flight or Augite Worm off the top. We are going second anyway, so we just might get what we're looking for here. Special Week, she does have really cute lines here like this, and it's animated very cutely as well. Yes, you are indeed, but we have no one drops. And they greeted back as well, so that's really nice. Good to see that sometimes, you know, when you show courtesy, your opponent shows it as well. But this is not good at all, so we're gonna use this. We'll discard that since my opponent has done nothing much yet. We need a freaking one-drop deck. Come on, give me a one-drop. Excuse me. I need a freaking one-drop deck. Come on, give me what I'm looking for here. Flora Fairy, sure, put a Fairy with that. Oh, it's this kind of deck. Alright, just swarming the board and then using Hifumi, I assume. Yeah, I mean, there's literally no other deck that does this. So we'll just use Springwell, we'll discard Trail Flight, and then we'll kill the body on board because we can. Let's see what our draw is off the top. Hopefully a one-drop. Still not giving me a one-drop. No, we will unfortunately need Mommy Drazi as a board wipe later on, because if there's one thing I know about Forest Craft is they love to flood the board. But let's see here. Leaf Shade Assassin. Add 1 to the number of cards played this turn. Sure. Budding Initiate, sure. And she has Bane! Another Budding Initiate, this time in her. I'm not sure which one here's the alt art though. May Eager Elf, Invoked out, and May Budding Wind, and they bounce back to hand. Ah, okay, so this is that version of Forest. We have discarded enough cards, but we'll just attack directly because we can. Normally would put down Argenti, but both of these girls have Bane, so she's not exactly an effective blocker here. But I honestly think we still should. Because, you know, we are discard dragon, goddammit. So we're gonna discard cards. We're gonna keep discarding cards here. So Argenti does her thing. We could evolve her here, but we're not going to. We're going to need Mommy Drazi much later. Although I think if she does indeed attack it with the Bane girls, they also die, so it doesn't exactly make too much of a difference. Yeah, we're gonna hold back here. We are gonna hold back. Should worst comes to worst, we're going to use Dragonoot's Might as a removal spell. We are playing on fair freaking ground here. Like, oh my god. Okay. Verdant Lieutenant, sure. Okay. Then May. So finally hardcasting her. Then Drain, Divine Smith. Okay, then Eager Elf, yep, back out. So I believe that's the second copy of the card, sure. Okay, Rain, evolving her, sure, giving her a rush. And then, oh, she evolves when someone else evolves, and then they also evolve. Oh, dear God. Okay. Excuse me. So this is a lot of damage next turn, and we sadly do not have the defenses for it. Okay, just fusing away stuff so that stuff can be hidden away, and this is a lot of damage. So this is 6, 10, this is 12. Oh, jeez. We're gonna need a lot here. We sadly were not able to level up enough, unfortunately. So, or rather, ramp up enough. We're gonna discard. Let's see what we draw off the top here. Overflow is active. Does that trigger? No, it does not. Yeah, it doesn't see it just yet. Who's their biggest attacker? I believe they've already done their things. Yeah. They're gonna do their things here. We're just going to do that. We're just gonna get rid of the biggest attacker. So there's that, and then we're going to evolve Argenti. So there is that. And then, should we attack? I think we should just attack. During your turn, whenever draw a card and evolve this follower. Yeah, we're gonna get rid of the card advantage one. And hopefully that will be enough to last us a bit. But we're gonna see. Let's see here. Okay, for another Verdant Lieutenant. Jesus Christ. So we really will need to put down Mommy Drazi next turn, just to clean up the board a little. But at least we won't be taking a crap ton of damage like last turn. We managed to get rid of 2 of their things, and this is just okay. This is not going to hurt as much as the last turn, but we do have Mommy Drazi in the bank, just to clean this board up a bit, and we're going to try to win next turn. So Mommy Drazi, there we go. We do need to restore a little bit of health, just in case things get sticky here. And we're going to evolve her so that they will have a very hard time getting through. Because I don't think Forestcraft has a lot of ways to get rid of stuff by like straight up destruction. It's more damage based. So they will need to work a little hard for this one. Okay, Carbuncle. Wow, that's an expensive ass card. 7 cost, does do a few things. Carbuncle Sparkle, sure. Recovers 1 evil point, so there's that. Okay, then Carbuncle evolves, becomes a 4/4, sure. Recovers 3 play points even, so he's only a 4 cost follower. Okay, Cleaver Cat, sure, there we go. Then she gains Bane! Oh dear. But at least it won't hurt too much, yeah. Oh, right. Oh, Mommy Drazi has protection from destruction, so that also includes Bane. Hey! So, she may have just thrown... they may have just thrown... okay, he gets a Wisp. And there we go. I think we just win here. So, we put down Lumiore. We will discard the 2 Scalebound Plights. Yep. So, that's that. And then we can even attack with Mommy Drazi just to ensure that we deal the most amount of damage possible. We only have 1 card that has a discard effect, so yeah, my opponent is dead. Holy shit! My opponent had me by the seat of my had me on the edge of my seat for a couple of moments, but okay, we managed to pull that one through, and we even get temporary gems. So there's that, and yeah, whew, that was a game. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, let's see what my opponent has for us here. And oh, I think I've faced off against this guy a couple of times already, or this is just another one of those Haven follower of rather another one of those Havencraft players that just uses this specific avatar. We don't need Lumiore yet, so we're gonna mulligan her away. Auget Worm is a discard outlet anyway, so that's fine. We got Altered Fate instead, so that's a much later problem. Nice sleeves though. So oh, okay. Not exactly looking good for us here. Special week, what's your deck gonna give to me here? So that and Scalebound Plight. Alright. We're just going to ramp next turn unless we get a discardable off the top. So let's see here. Bomb Beauty's Examination Hall, sure. So we have amulets already for a Havencraft player, which is not a good sign. So we're just going to ramp, and let's see what our next draw has for us here. So Springwell Dragon Keeper is not going to do too much here. Ah, dear God, Perpetual Despair. This one offsets a lot of the damage that I'm going to potentially do here. So we'll Dragon Oracle again. Then we will Scalebound Plight, discarding Springwell, since we won't exactly be facing off against a lot of followers here, because this is Amulet Haven. So we're just going to be seeing a lot of stuff being just plopped onto the board, and then they're gonna wait for Bellerophon, I believe, or some other win con that they can carry in their deck. Opponent is thinking about it though, and yeah, Wings of Friendship, yeah, another amulet, so there's that. Adding a card into the deck, yeah, Asuka and Shiori. It still boggles my mind that this follower is just in the deck to draw 2 cards. It's just there to draw 2 cards. I mean, she is like fairly costed. 3 mana, 3 play points, draw 2. Divination is a thing in Magic the Gathering. We do get Orbed Cancer, so we'll just continue discarding. We already have Lumiore, but we need to get deeper into the deck. Ooh, that is something. But we'll use Curse Fury here. We'll use Rowan's Roar so that Overflow will be active for next turn. My opponent is not going to be attacking anyway, so this we have time. We have time. They could swing for 1. I mean, yeah, it's a free attack, so I don't see why you shouldn't. But they will get to draw a card if they don't attack. So there's that. Golden Bell. Okay, sure. Restoring defense. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else my opponent has for us here. Abdiel. Give relay the following effect. Blah blah blah. Recover 1 evo. Sure. Restore 1 defense. Yeah. Okay. He's not going to get 1 from Perpetual Despair. Okay. We might have to do this now. We'll get Lumiore down. There we go. So, oh, we were not able to do that because we did not discard enough cards yet. So I guess we'll just draw more cards then. So we discard those and another Altered Fate. Cool. My opponent just might die here. I mean, might, but 6. This is oh my god, this is almost exactly. Had I another play point, my opponent would have died right here. But as it stands, we're just gonna draw 1 more card, just see what we can get. Scalebound Plight is not it, but yeah. If my opponent doesn't do anything here, they are definitely dead. But if there's anything I know about Havencraft, they do have an amulet that just reduces the amount of damage they can take. So there's that. Okay, Ebony Aegis. Yeah, I'm assuming he's going to attack into Lumiore just to mitigate some of the damage that is going to be coming their way. And the Avatar finally took off the helmet. Oh dear god. So this is 10. Not affected by other cards effects that change this card's attack or defense. Well, guess what? Mami Drazi is on the way. So there's that. -5/-5. So now he is not an effective attacker. There we go. And, Mami Drazi does her thing. And I could just attack into it, honestly. Reduce damage to this follower to 0. Oh god, I can't even attack it. Oh, well, I can attack it, but it's not going to do a lot of damage. Okay, we're gonna use Orb Cancer. We're just looking for Lumiore at this point. If we do indeed find her. That's not Lumiore, and we'll just pass. I could attack, but it's not going to do much because he does not. Heavenly Eye, guess, doesn't take damage. Okay. We need another Mami Drazi stat. Let's see what else is going to happen here. Alright. Restores a couple of things. There we go. Abdiel, sure. Okay, banished. Sure, I will be taking 5 unless something else happens. Okay, playing another amulet, restoring more life points. Okay, sure. We need Lumiore. We freaking need Lumiore. Where the flying fuck is Lumiore? We're gonna play Argenti. Or we could just use Augite Worm. Oh wait, no, we can't. So we're just gonna use Scalebound Plight. We'll draw a couple cards. Where the fuck is Lumi? Ah! Where's Lumi? Oh my god. We could just deal 6 damage to all of these things. And then, yeah, our life total is still fairly high. We're just gonna deal 6. Yeah, again, one of those rare instances that we needed to deal damage. So there's that, and I will happily take the 5 here. We have not seen another copy of Lumiore just yet. Okay, yep, restoring there. Sure. I'm assuming I mean, he has a choice. He either attacks the Augite Worm and preserves his life total a little because I guess Heavenly Aegis here doesn't take damage except by Mami Drazi. Oh wait, no, I may have already discarded the Mami Drazis. Oh no. So I don't have Mami Drazis anymore. It's Lumiore or bust right now. Okay, Plum's Examination Hall. Sure. Heavenly Aegis is this is gonna be a bitch to deal with. reduce damage, or I could have another the Furor, yeah, Rowan's Furor, or another Valdane. I could use Valdane's Claw right now just to get rid of the Aegis, so that I can breathe a little easier. Okay, Abdiel, this is probably their last copy. Evolving her again so that she can have Ward, sure. Okay, yep, okay, just banishing that. Okay, I will happily take the 5, and let's see what I draw off the top. Mami Drazi saves the day. There we go. Mami Drazi does her thing, wipes the board clean. We will evolve her, and then we will discard a couple of cards in order to restore our pitiful life total. Should we just discard both of these? Yeah, this restores 6. We'll be up 21. Yeah, we should just do so. Just pile bodies on board. We won't need to draw any more cards than we already do. So there's that, and still no signs of Lumiore, but this is 10 damage on board, and I just got rid of his Heavenly Aegis. So let's see what else my opponent has for us here. Unless of course a lot of his cards in hand are all just amulets, and I already took care of his win condition. So let's see. Alright, Goddess of Compassion, fusing 2, giving all of my stuff -5/-5, but Mami Drazi can still contest that opponent. And I don't know if he made the mistake of... Okay, there we go. Right. So restore 5, then -5/-5 to all enemy followers. That is completely fine. Mami Drazi is now a measly 2/5. Deal 2 damage to all allies and all enemies. Sure. Evolving Jean, Despair's Maiden. Sure. Assuming attacking Mami Drazi. Yeah, sure. Okay. Let's see what we draw off the top. Another Scalebound Plight, but we'll just play the All-Guide Worm here. Still no signs of Lumiore, so there's that. We will actually just pass turn here. I don't want to draw any more cards because it is simply way too risky. We're both. I am down to literally the last 5 cards in my deck. My opponent is still up by 15. All right, cool. So deal 6, and I think I just lost here. No Lumiore in sight for the past couple of turns. We'll just play an Orb Cancer because we can, and then we will evolve this so that we have another Fortress Crab in hand for next turn. And we will just see. I mean, if I survive, sure, we will see. You guys will see it to the end. But if I don't, there will just be a cut here, and we're just gonna move on to the next game. So we'll see you guys there. Okay, let's see what my opponent has for us here. We are here somewhere. I don't remember quite where this is, but Swordcraft. What flavor of Swordcraft there are? Well, there's only one meta-viable Swordcraft deck and unlimited. This hand sucks. Curse Furor is a later play, and we're going second. And we need a discardable, or rather, we need a discard outlet in order to convert this hand into something great. But we're gonna see what my opponent has for us here. They're thinking about their mulligan decisions here, or their intent connection failed them. So we're just gonna see if my opponent pulls through. And we're going second anyway, so we have time to think. Depending on what our opponent plays, I mean, we could use Dragonoot Smite as a removal tool in case they go a little too aggressively. And Mami Drazi is there just to wipe the board. So while my opponent thinks about their mulligan decisions, in case I don't know, their intent connection failed them, or their Uber arrived, or whatever delivery service is at their door, they're just answering it right now, or it could be something else entirely. Okay, opponent has finally made their decision. Wait, let me check the name. Okay, it's a Japanese name. All right, I think it's Chinese. I'm not sure which, because there's this one player that I get to face off against every once in a while where they don't do anything. I mean, it's a free win because they literally don't do anything. They just let the timer run out and then pass the turn back to me. I don't know how they do it. It could be a bot. I don't know. But there are accounts like that where they do nothing but waste your time. But they do give you a free win if you are patient enough. and I have used that to my advantage on certain occasions. But there are times where I simply do not have the time, nor well, I do have the patience, but I don't have the time to sit around and wait 20 minutes for a free victory. So stuff like this is honestly a lot better. But my opponent is indeed taking their sweet time. I'm deciding what to play, so we're just gonna wait. And we're just gonna move to the next interesting point and see what my opponent has for us here. Okay, so my opponent literally passed back without doing anything at all. I'm not going to honestly do anything with this hand as well, so we'll literally just pass back to my opponent and let's see if they even do something with their turn, unless a lot of, well, technically, a lot of Swordcraft cards, especially the really good ones, they cost 2. If my opponent is just playing this game for the first time, I mean, I can also understand that, but we're gonna see here. But if my opponent just keeps passing back to me, okay, passing back to me immediately, at least I know they're responsive. So we're just going to ramp and then we're going to pass back to my opponent. I mean, they haven't exactly shown anything that is worth commenting on yet. So we're just going to keep going here. We do need a discard outlet in order to convert some of these cards into something better, or hell, just convert a card into even more cards, because that's how Discard Dragon works. So we see special week here. Oh, okay. Passing back still. Opponent still has nothing. We haven't discarded any cards at all, so we will do just that. We will discard Springwell Dragon Keeper, discarding that, and we'll ramp even more, I guess. Excuse me. So we ramp just a little bit more, and opponent is still taking their sweet-ass time thinking about their life decisions and why they are even playing this game in the first place. So let's see what opponent is going to do. I mean, unless, of course, a lot of their hand is like extremely top-heavy, which is, I mean, it is a possibility, especially in a game like this. But we've barely discarded anything, so we will unfortunately have to use Mami Drazi here to get one card deeper. We do get a Trail of Light, which is something, but we're gonna use that to draw one deeper. We still don't get something that is worth a discard. Alright, fine. We could use Argenti here and just discard these two, but we won't draw 2 cards, and that will leave our hand extremely empty. So we'll just summon the Dragon Keeper just as an attacker, not as a removal tool. So there's that. We can finally at least move this game along a bit. So let's see what my opponent has for us here, unless of course they just pass back immediately and just discard a card. They haven't been doing anything for the past couple of turns anyway, so we're gonna see what they're going to be up to here. Alright, just immediately passing back again. So we're just gonna attack, then use the Orbed Cancer to draw 2 cards. See what we draw. Alright, something useful. We'll discard Dragonwood Smite and one of the Altered Fates, because we only really need 2 of those. Then Argenti will draw us into even more cards. Scalebound Plight is something. But we will need more attackers. We're just going to use this to speed up the clock. Next turn. So let's see here. I mean, we could just literally attack with 2 Argentis and 2 Springwell with 2 Dragon Keepers, and then, you know, just be happy and done with it. Unless of course we draw Lumiore, in which case my opponent will definitely die. But I don't think we've discarded enough cards just yet. Yeah, we need to have discarded at least 4 times in order for Lumiore to do her thing. So we'll attack first, then Argenti, discard Dragonfolk's Wail and one of the Furors. There we go. Then let's see what we draw. Still no signs of Lumiore though, so that is indeed something. We'll just use Fierce Furor to ramp up, because why not? We will now use Scalebound Plight to discard the Trail of Light. Again, still no signs of Lumiore, Jesus Christ. We will evolve the newer one so that we can increase our clock a little, and I believe this is lethal. Yeah, 5, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, this is 12 damage, and we're just gonna pass. And if my opponent still doesn't do anything here, they are definitely dead. So let's see here. I mean, this is I mean, a win is a win, but a free win like this is honestly extremely anticlimactic. So if my opponent is still not gonna do anything, we're just gonna cut this duel and assume I'm gonna win, unless of course my opponent does something crazy. But other than that, we're just gonna move on to the end screen. Okay, we're here at the end screen, and yeah, the deck performed about how I expected it would. It does have variance as its biggest enemy, because if you don't draw into the right sequence of cards, which is like extremely random, you will face the problems that I faced, as you saw here. In one of the matches, Lumiore was like was at the bottom 3 cards of the deck, so I wasn't able to capitalize on it, and I had to delay by using like Orb Cancers and Augite Worms just to stabilize the board a little, and even then that wasn't enough because Lumiore came in way too late at that point. But otherwise, this is a deck that I'm honestly more comfortable piloting rather than the pirate deck, because with the pirate deck you really do have to think about what cards you play and when you play it. But with this, just draw cards until you get your combo pieces, and hopefully your opponent dies from there. It does have difficulty getting over Havencraft, because Havencraft and hell, even Portalcraft, those two decks can put down cards that will reduce the amount of damage that Lumiore does, and it's going to be really hard to bounce back from that, because they are amulets, and Terra Finis is a card that I always mention. But this deck doesn't exactly have a lot of space. You could just put Terra Finis in the Cursed Furor slot if amulets are giving you a really rough time, and just rely on Springwell Dragonkeeper as your source of removal. But if you do that, you will then face the problem of card effects that reduce damage you do to 0, and you need straight up removal, or hell, even just Mamidrazi, in order to deal with said card effects. So it's a push and pull, and this build in particular is honestly the one that I'm happiest with. But I will try to experiment with a build that has Terra Finis in it, because a lot of the top end of this top end of this deck is honestly still triggers Terra Finis anyway, and you only really the only 2 creatures that you really just plop down onto the field anyway are Mamidrazi and Lumiore, and even Argenti, and then Springwell Dragonkeeper as a removal tool. But getting Mamidrazi or Lumiore down, and then having Terra Finis, just to get rid of amulets a turn earlier, it's something. But at the same time, this deck is already tight enough for space as it is. But experiment with what you will. I will do some experimenting myself. But if you guys like what you saw, hit like, comment, subscribe, and share this among your friends. And until next time, toodles.